indeed been transmitted to the Senate. I purposely use the word transmitted. Haven't been able to use that word in a long time. But as we know, the Chief of Staff to the President, Gbajabiamila, actually hand-delivered it. That was the first. He hand-delivered it. And so we have 28 nominees sent to the Senate for confirmation, as 11 other states await their turn, so to speak, on the nominations list. Adamawa, Bayelsa, Gombe, Kano, Kebbi, Kogi, Lagos, Nasarawa, Osun, Yobe, and Zamfara are yet to take their day in the sun. For the moment, all the other states have actually provided 28 nominees. Some states have had more than one. I've heard the commentary that Katsina got two nominees. And so we'll look at all of that. What you think, of course, this is very important. We'll also take your calls. And to discuss the subject matter this morning, two legal practitioners. I'm not in a position to say two learned friends or two learned brothers, because they are very, very particular about how you bandy around those particular titles. So I'm talking about Fred Nzeako, development economist, in addition to being a lawyer. Fred, as always, it's a delight to have you.
Thank you, Yori. Good morning.
Indeed.
Good morning to our dear viewers.
And Kabir Akingbolu, he's a public affairs analyst. Thank you, gentlemen, for
It's a pleasure for having us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Nice at home.
All right, now let's start off. Sure-footed. Let's take a report that has gone out earlier to set the scene. We'll come back. We'll talk about it, and of course, we'll take your calls as well.
The Senate suspends its standing rule to admit a special visitor into the chamber. The Chief of Staff to Mr. President, Femi Gbajabiamila, is ushered into the Senate's plenary session to present President Tinubu's list of ministerial nominees.
Reading taken.
President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, then proceeds to call out the 28 names of the ministers designate as contained in the executive communication.
Of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to forward to the Senate for confirmation the underlisted 28 ministerial nominees. 1. Abubakar Momo, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Chuka, CON. 3. Architect Ahmad Dangiwa. 4. Barrister Hanatu Musawa. 5. Chief Uche Naji. 6. Dr. Beta Edu.
Reacting to the content of President Tinubu's ministerial nominees, lawmakers commend the president for meeting the deadline. However, they say the screening of the nominees would not be business as usual.
I believe that by this weekend, we'll have the CVs. But I'm personally pleased with the caliber of men and women that have been nominated. But we can only conclude when we screen them. And if we find them worthy, why not? We'll confirm them. If we don't find them worthy, we're not going to confirm them.
Our business is to screen them, and then those who will be able to pass our screening should take a bow.
All these names you submitted, what are they going to do? Let's not approve people to become ministers, and we take square pegs and put in round holes. We want to match them with their capacities.
The Senate has a tradition that if you were once a senator, you would have been screened to become a senator, and so that suffices. But in any case, it doesn't stop any senator from asking the relevant questions where it becomes necessary.
At the nick of time, President Bola Tinubu's ministerial list got to the National Assembly, but the wait is not over yet, as more names will be sent in due course. Also, the ball is now in the court of the Senate to screen these ministers and allow President Tinubu inaugurate the Federal Executive Council. Tijesu Adeoye, TVC News, Abuja.
Okay, thank you very much, Tijesu Adeoye. And, you know, as I said, just a quick reminder, Fred Nziako, Kabir Akingbolu, the legal practitioners are with us this morning. They're also commentators on public affairs. Okay, let me, because I'm right-handed, and only because I'm right-handed.
That's good.
Let me start with you, Kabir. So, well, we have got the list, yes. But what we notice is that it's later than we would have thought.
Yes.
The way the sounds were coming earlier, we thought that within 2-3 weeks we would have had it. But in the event, it turned out that it's a lot more involved than all of that.
Yes.
Were you? What sort of struck you in the list? We have 11 states to go.
Yes.
You know, but with the 28 nominees that we have.
First of all, I will start from the women.
Yeah.
Now, all the presidents that have ruled Nigeria from 2007 have always been promising, 35% women inclusion, some will say 40%, and so on and so forth. Though I'm not a mathematician, but if I want to quantify the percentage of 7 women out of 28, it will be 25%. Exactly. So, which is still a very poor, it's a long way to go if you are going to that 35. So, is it not a recurring? Yeah, well, let us look at it. Because in the whole Senate and Rep, they have only 15 women out of about 469 men. So when you look at it from this angle, are we not reaping the women folk, or are we not saying that we are more superior? That is about that. That's by the way. But when you look at the list again, you see there is a kind of recurring decimal of recycling of old politicians, some so to say, and you will begin to wonder that a party, APC as a party, they have made a kind of a law, not too young to govern. So if you are not too young to govern as a law, and you are not following it, I think it is not too good. We need more youths. But then the list is good. Like the president said something which I love earlier. He said, I want to constitute a government of national competence. I don't want, it's not a government of national unity. Because government of national unity is on all common affairs. But a government of national competence will look at the precedent of the people, their backgrounds and some other things, morality, and their competence. So it will go a long way in assisting the nation in getting somewhere. However, the list, there is a law that says, I think we are getting it. We might not be in the promised land yet, but we are no longer in Egypt, because in the past, you can see the list may not come out until after several months. I remember very well in 2019 until I had to file a suit against the president before he released the name. So that he ought to have released long ago. I think he released in August or September or thereabout. So now this way, even this one, there are suspicions or suggestions or statements suggestive of the fact that they are not going to take charge or they are not going to resume work until around September, which is not so very good, because the way the president kicked the ball when it started, people were impressed, a lot of people were expecting a lot, and we believe within 2-3 weeks, list should be out. So, and we are still surprised now that it's an inchoate list that is not complete yet. We don't expect that, because I believe you should have, in all those states that you are saying, 11 states is a lot. You should have known who and who to pick.
Indeed. Fred?
Yes. I think it is not a matter of the president not knowing what to do. It is a matter of, it underscores the type of pressure, underscores the type of lobbying, underscores the type of bantering that goes on behind the scene. All those movements in and out of the villa, I mean, will tell you exactly, will tell you that for every visitor that comes to the villa, comes with a bag of requests and a bag of expectations. And yes, we must give that to Mr. President, that he was able to meet the expectation of the provisions of the law. And don't recall that a law making, it comes out of the experience and the expectations of the people. you will complain about the past administration that took 6 months before the list could come out. And of course, that experience was what advised the legislators to make that law that within 60 days, which is 2 months after taking off office, you must name your cabinet. He did not say you must name all your cabinet. He said, not all that is not there has given him the latitude to escape any criticism. But yes, I agree with you that possibly 11 states still to come, and about 13 offices or thereabout, ministerial appointment yet to come. Three states have double nominations.
Yes.
Delta, Katsina, and Cross River have double nominations. So what it means is that you already know that there will be more than 36 ministries.
Yes. Yes.
Abuja must also have a ministry, right? I mean, the Federal Capital Territory, they always have one representing them. So you are now looking at a minimum of about 37, 39 ministries.
If not 42.
But the way I am seeing, from the soundbite we got from the Chief of Staff to the President, it would likely end at 42, 43. One per state, and possibly 6 for each geopolitical zone, and making 42, and 1 from FCT, making 43. We've been talking about bogus bureaucracy, but we should not sacrifice bogus productivity on the altar of running away from bogus bureaucracy. What is important and what we need most as a country is high level of productivity.
Okay, I'm going to have to take a break here. We'll be right back and you shall continue. Stay with us, please.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
Okay, welcome back. We're looking at the ministerial list sent to the National Assembly, was received yesterday, out of the hands of the Chief of Staff to the President. That was the first. Maybe it'll become a convention, one doesn't know. But we have Fred Nziako Kabir Kingbolu looking at it. And Fred had, you know, we went to break from when Fred was speaking about.
Yes, yes. As I was saying, that we are looking at some of those issues that had to be considered and had to be balanced. We're looking at the issues of women inclusivity, which my friend says, well, at 25%, it is...
it's not too bad.
It is not too bad.
It's better than before.
It's not too bad. And when you consider also the number of women that were able to win an election, if you juxtapose that, you see that those are appointed, it's not too bad. And you now, when you look at the age of the appointees, of the nominees, you will not say that it's actually too bad, because there are young people, there are also very experienced hands. Now you look at the balancing of the personalities. We talk about the politicians, we talk about the technocrats, but we also want to say that a politician can also be a technocrat.
That's right.
And a technocrat can also be a politician. Because in every human endeavor, there is element of politics. Even while you are possibly at home, even at home. And when you are managing your businesses, when you are running your endeavors, there are always politics involved. So when you now look at strict to sensu, the issue of balancing between technocrats and professionals and politicians, you can see that there is that, again, that fair balance. And what we may worry is when you talk about the issue of recycling, which my friend, my brother earlier mentioned. Well, there are not so much of such recycling. We must, in all fairness. Yeah. I guess
there were 4 governors in there.
4 governors.
Four governors in there.
I guess Mr. President will be looking at experience of those who have been in government to be able, because when you have a peer review, in the ministerial appointments, when the ministers sit together in Federal Executive Council, those who have experience in government will somehow rub off that experience on those who are coming possibly from the private sector. And then, because they are brilliant people, they will do a very quick catch-up. So for now, I do not think that it is not a good one, but I must quickly say that there must be measurable standards, and Mr. President must be ready and willing to relieve anybody who, in his opinion, is not meeting up to the expectations.
You know, we were talking, Kabir, about our expectation had been set that, look, it's not going to be business as usual. We're going to have competency, technocrats, and all of that. Well, you know, part of the difficulty must have been that any way you look at it, politics is politics, and that people who had contributed to the emergence of the president, you know, and his party, you know, they would have to be accounted for. Let me just put it discreetly like that. They would have to be, let me not use the Nigerian expression of settled. That can be odious. You know.
Or recognized.
Or recognized.
Yeah, use the word recognized.
Let's use the word recognized.
Recognized.
But you see, the challenge with that is that there are many more people than those that have actually been recognized now that actually, to use a line from Babajide Otitoju, who worked their socks off, you know, for the emergence of the president. But look, that is life for you. Not everybody can be in there.
Exactly.
But now that we have 11 states left, and yeah, we're all concentrating, of course, naturally, because that's where the news is on. I did do a zip through about Adamawa is yet to be represented, Bayelsa, Gombe, Kano, Kebbi, Kogi, Lagos, Nasarawa, Oshun, Yobe, and Zamfara have not yet been represented. So if there are any things that we think the list is lacking, there's a chance in these 11 to sort of make an impact on whatever those things are.
Yes, just like my learned friend has said, and it's a very fantastic observation about the issue of old...
Because I understood that the one can take learned friend or learned brother.
Yeah, it's my learned friend. So like he has rightly observed fantastically, that the old politicians there will be much needed, especially when at council chambers meeting, decisions are to be made. Don't forget, Wike was a former Minister of Education. El-Rufai was a former Minister of FCT. He was Director General of BP, Bureau of Public Enterprises. He was Governor, and he performed well in all those places. Wike too did his best in his own right. De Mumai did fantastically
and Badaru.
In his this thing, and Badaru. So all these people, this experience is very rich. You know, the experiences are very rich, and it will be needed when taking decisions at council chambers and government affairs and all that. And but just like you have also observed that the remaining 11 can be a way to now chip in some things that were missing, if any. In the last one, like in Lagos, there were high-wired politics going on to get a suitable candidate for that. The same thing in Kano. Again, you know, some people are pushing for the former governor, and again, another thing is coming up that probably it may be tip for the chairman of the party. All these things are the factors to be taken into consideration before these things are done. But there is, in this list, there is going to be a very serious, you know, fight it all, because now some lists are out. People will be more desperate than ever that I must make the list. I must make the list.
The odds have sort of increased.
Exactly. So the awareness of people on I want to belong will now increase or doubled. So the president has to be very careful so as not to pick the chaff against the real grain. So it is very important.
In advising Mr. President to be careful, let me latch in on your advice that there is this thing we call law of diminishing marginal productivity. It happens in economics. It also happens in human resource management. Diminishing marginal productivity. Some people argued that for some of these governors that have been nominated, that it is expected that they should have at least taken some time off to relax a bit, take some break from active public service, and then rejuvenate so that they can come back and not to do it back to back from being minister to being governor for 8 years and back to being minister. And those with that school of thought are picking out Nyesom Wike and Governor El-Rufai, former Governor El-Rufai, that they needed to give themselves some break. In my own feeling and thinking, yes, recognizing the law of diminishing marginal productivity, if they feel, because everybody has different levels and thresholds of sustaining pressure and effectiveness. And if they feel and they're able to convince Mr. President that their productivity will not diminish on account of fatigue or on account of lack of break, then it is also important that they should know that to whom much is given, much is expected, that Nigerians will be looking out for them to continue to sustain that tempo. And if at any time they feel their productivity will diminish, they should be gentle enough to take a bow. Indeed. And go take some rest.
And as we talk about this, I suppose the point can also be made that, well, now you've had the chance to come up with ministers, that is anybody else. For those who were criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari, we've had, another person has had a chance, and perhaps you now see that it's not as easy as was thought. If not for the law that was by force saying that it has to be 60 days. I mean, the list arrived, hours to the expiration of that 60 days. Yes, 60 days. So that goes to show that there's a heck of a lot of work that has to be done. Tiredness, diminishing returns, one can appreciate all of that, but when you look at a man like just for example, David Umahi, Senator David Umahi, he's already in there.
Senator, a deputy majority leader.
Already.
Which is a very key position at the National Assembly.
He was a deputy governor in Ebonyi State, became a governor for 8 years. Won to represent his people in the Senate, and now picked by Mr. President for the Ministerial.
There is a hole also that people have picked in the past, that, well, when you are sending lists, I think it's part of the amendment law, send their designation.
Yeah, where you intend to put them.
What you intend them to be. We do is for Attorney General, is for Minister of Labor, so that relevant questions could be taken to them, upon them. Why screening them? So but now you are just screening a minister in vacuum.
I think that law, my brother, I think that law omitted
that point.
That he gave that lacuna.
Yeah, that lacuna. So it's a lacuna in our law.
It's a lacuna in our
because
law.
Now you just say I'm a minister. I don't know where I'm going.
You're very right, but at the same time, presidents oftentimes reshuffle their cabinet without necessarily sacking anyone.
That is the flip side.
Yes, so
the flip side to it is that
I think you should go to works now. Go try works. That kind of a thing.
That's the flip side to it.
Mazi Okorafo, good morning to you, sir, in Arochukwu.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess. Honest, I didn't bring this ministerial have a backup of the office. It could have helped us. Because, one, education, very, very sensitive office. All of us are aware, during what happened to Nigeria, that was ignorant of that ministry. That is why in Nigeria today, 70% of Nigerian universities, their colleges are not accredited. The 70% of Nigerian universities still make sure that moving from one university to another university, going to teach up to 4 universities a day. Living is travel assignment. That is why many Nigerians cannot graduate. Many Nigerians cannot. So that is why we need somebody that know what Nigerian education sector, what is that. Even the head. The head is very, very important. You have seen what's happening in Anthrax. Everywhere they tell us some attorneys or people are not to eat meat. Now, if you don't eat meat, what you fish? Can you afford to buy 1 kilo of fish? Even ordinary ice fish is another problem. Not to talk about going to buy fish from the. These are the things. Because you should try as much as possible that the president, that all those nominees are job runners. The key posts, honestly speaking, we should try. Even the finance. We saw what happened. Not a question of bringing some, like I was saying, I saw one state. They said they brought somebody from whether he agri to go and do Ministry of the medical science. I saw nothing. What are somebody from agri going to do in health? And that is the issue. So these are the issues that we have to do. We should work hard at least, get the competent people, we know we have technocrats, yes. Talented men, yes. Women. I was so happy that the number of women on the board, they are very, very happy. At least, when I saw it, I say, yes, these are young ladies, young women that are ready to carry Nigeria. The women will not say that they are being sidelined. All the women, I think they will jump in and say, yes, the regime is carrying them out. So I want those women, all those key offices, key ministries, that you know that women can do better. The president should travel and so post them to that place. There is no ministry that says there must be a man there. No. Good morning, Sir YORI.
All right then. Thank you very much, Mazi Okora, for championing because of our women folk there. 25%. The goal is 33%, but you know we understand that people are saying that for now we can manage, and there's still the hope that we might get more women out of the 11 states are still waiting. In terms of just looking at the list generally, there will be political aspects that have to be taken account of internally. So to that extent, people might not know some of these people. Some of those people, some of the people on that list are not widely known across the length and breadth of the country. But the party knows that, or Mr. President knows that these people were crucial. In that regard, were there any, I mean, it's not, Dele Alaki, for instance. Yes. He's been in the public eye for God knows how long, you know, and he's even serving right now as a special advisor.
Yeah, if you, just like you have said, and I want my learned friends to take note, there is rarely anybody that will not have one political affiliation or the other. If he has not been actively involved in the past, he must have a godfather who has been actively involved and who say, oh, I'm too big for this, or I want to rest, let this person be. You understand? So it's like that. Like the lady from, the youngest lady amongst the youngest of all the ministers, the Okoteti, the one from Delta, is a 38-year-old entrepreneur. He works with Nezim Bank and other Nigeria Export and Import Bank. You understand? He is there, and we have those ones. Like if you look at somebody, the man from Idris, from Mohammed Idris from Niger State, you may say, oh, he has not been known. But a journalist, almost every journalist, sorry, Uncle Yori, I will use that, they are politicians in a way. You understand? He's the publisher of...
Indeed.
He's a publisher, you understand? So when you look at these things, you will see that the paradigm is not static. You understand? Anatu Musawa was the deputy spokesperson of the APC. You understand? He has two masters, one in oil and gas, one in the aviation or something. So when you look at all this, they have some political intonation. Like the lady from Cross River, I think, Beta Edu. He was in, I think, commissioner for health. So he's a surgeon. She's a surgeon, and so on and so forth. The woman from Imo, the one from Abia, has been in politics. He has spent 3 terms. He lost the 4th term. So you can see some of these things. In some states, like the other man from Kazin, I think, was in politician also. So some of them contested for governorship and lost.
Let me take another quick break before I come to Fred. Stay with us, please.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
It's not your regular show. It's an online interactive session where we share my views on the everyday issues that cut across politics, security, health, current affairs, governance, and so much more. I am passionate about our country. I choose to support any conversation geared towards building a better Nigeria. I am Babajide Kolaji Otitoju. Join me every Saturday on TVC News YouTube channel as I discuss Nigeria and the world at large on the show Issues with Jide.
Okay, welcome back. Still with Kabir Akingbolu and Fred Nzeako, both of them legal practitioners, also, you know, observers of the policy, and we're looking at the list. So far, they've been quite positive about the list, and talking about both gentlemen seem pretty much satisfied with the age dispersion of these people. Well, this is Nigeria, and for now, you know, we're celebrating the fact that a 38-year-old person made the list. Okay, because in other areas of the world, you do have 32, 33, 34, 35-year-olds, you know, coming into ascension. But we'll take it while we still work at it, because the youths are there saying that, look, there's much that can be done. But it needs to be said that this is a remarkable, because somebody, when we were off air, somebody said, you want to beef about that? Have we not had a 78-year-old appointee before? I said, oh dear, oh dear. Yes. So we're going. So we expect your calls. A lot of people are happy with the list, but let's take it from Mr. George. Good morning to you, Mr. George in Lagos.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning to your guests.
Yes.
Morning.
Uncle Yori, I am particularly happy because you remember when we spoke about this list some time ago, I was making some suggestions. I'm happy that it looks as if the president watched that show. If Mahi, Erufai, and Wike, at least he picked those three out of the list that are suggested. They are people that have been tested. I'm sorry to disagree with the idea of diminishing returns. Diminishing returns comes when you have a break. During the break, your renewal of strength is suspended. And by the time you pick up again, you may not be able to meet up with the pace. So there is nothing wrong when you just move away from being a performing governor and go and become a minister. I don't see anything wrong with that. What I want the president to do is to please assign portfolios appropriately. That's why it will have been good to assign the portfolios for the senators to ask appropriate questions. What Femi Gbajabiamila said yesterday, I'm sorry to disagree with him, that if they put portfolios and the president needs to change, to be issues about whether there is need to bring the person back to the Senate for screening. No. You put them there, then periodically you give them targets as they perform. If you see the need and you see that one minister is not as suitable as it will be in one place and might be better in another place, you stop. There is nothing wrong with that. That is at the discretion of the president. But when you are screening them, you tie them to portfolios, you'll be able to find out how they can cope, whether they have an idea of being assigned to them. That one is important at the beginning. I believe that because you remember, Okoyori, the last Minister of Education, said he didn't know anything about education, and he was there for 8 years. Education grew like that.
Indeed. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. George. Hopefully those days are over. We can't really afford those days. That was something of a, well, some people saw it as a sort of a national embarrassment.
It was a very huge one. But I think in extending the logic and the argument why the law provides that the ministers are to assist. If you go and read what the Constitution says, the ministers are to assist Mr. President in governing the country, in presiding over the country. And it did not, when you attach portfolio, the understanding will be that outside that portfolio, the minister cannot work elsewhere. Let's take, for example, you said you are sending Fred Nzeako as Attorney General and Minister, keep off, as Minister for Education. And he screened, and he succeeds. If he does not work in education, that means he's leaving that cabinet. So we expect that these are men and women that should be able to handle multiple taxes.
Indeed, indeed.
Multiple tax.
In this day and age,
one
just has to be able to multitask.
Multitasking
right.
capacity is required. If it's required from employees in private enterprises, it's also required from ministers at the federal level.
I think so.
So I think there's nothing wrong with that.
I can tell you, in Western region, a particular man was made a commissioner for justice, and he was never a lawyer.
Yeah,
and he did well, you understand?
And he did well.
And that
was then. Until lawyers kicked and said
no. Because you see, most of this, just like you rightly observed, is administrative convenience. And the Constitution says the only minister mentioned that is compulsory for an administrator is Minister of Justice or Commissioner for Justice, as the case may be. He said there shall be a Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General for the state or for the federation.
Yes.
And such other ministers as the government or the president or the governor may think fit. So if he likes, he can stop at 10. He can stop at 3. He can stop at 5. There is no seal. He can also move it to 100, but it's impossible. So
okay. Mr. Yakub in Dokwemo, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for holding on.
Thank you, YORI. Thank you very much. And then good morning to your guests.
Thank you.
YORI, I think I'm happy because this is a fantastic list. Because I also agree with Mr. George, because I would like Mr. President in person of Bola Tinubu to do the different things. Why am I saying that? Since 1999, we have not seen a situation whereby the list sent to the National Assembly attached with a portfolio. But this time around, if we have our way, as a supporter of this particular government, even though when it gets to a stage of dicey, not getting it, comprised of Naira issue and then economic at that time that the election is coming on, we are not sure that we are going to get it. But we have like 65% of getting it. But even though with that 65% of winning the election, it's still dicey as at that time. But what's giving us the assurance that we are going to win the election as at that time is that when the G5 go their way and then the PDP are able to settle them, we know that we are going home with the victory. And then I have this another thing that I give kudos to Mr. President for allowing Wike to send to that National Assembly become a minister under this particular government, because he did a fantastic job for making sure that the G5 government go their way and stand to make sure that we get this victory. But I will say that, YORI, attached portfolio is very, very, very important. I could not wait to see David Umar become a Minister of Education. I could not wait to see Wike become Minister of Work, because if Wike become Minister of Work, this road from Lagos to Abeokuta will never remain the way it is. Because you can imagine Wike give you a work to do, they will show up, ask you why you are not delivered this door. Another thing is this. There's a lot of people play a very fantastic role because of Bola Tinubu. One of them is Festus Keyamo. I'm still wait where Mr. President is going to fit him, because I can't wait to see him performing something in this government, because he did a very, very fantastic job as well. But I don't know, maybe ministers commit from the state and then come here in Lagos. It felt very dicey for Mr. President to pick someone in Lagos. Because for me, I'm a fan of former governor of Lagos State, in person of Babajide Raji Fashola. But there's another person from Lagos, Ogala. He's also played a fantastic role. Because Babatunde Ogala, I don't understand his name, but I know the Ogala. He's also played a role.
And that one is another Babatunde.
I can't wait to see him.
That one is another Babatunde. Thank you. Both of them are SA, and both of them have Babatunde as the first name. Only one continues with Raji and Fashola, and the other one continues.
Yeah, but what underscores the need to throw in fresh hands is you don't know you cannot completely know a man or a woman's competence if you don't give him or her a trial. So why we bring in experienced hands, it's also good to have confidence in the one you can call not neophytes per se, but greenhorns, who have the personal pedigree and educational sagacity to be able to push forward your ideals. But most importantly, the performance of the executive is a true reflection of the expectation of the chief executive officer. What do I mean? The minister's performance will be tied to the performance of Mr. President.
Yes.
If Mr. President wants the country to move forward, his ministers will key in. If Mr. President becomes indolent, his ministers will naturally become indolent. And that was why a minister says he didn't know anything about education. And Nigerians were shouting and saying, this man is not functioning. This man is not performing.
But it was
Please change him. But Mr. President himself did not understand what we were talking about.
Let me bring in Chidi.
And he left him there for 8 good years.
Let me bring in Chidi. Good morning, Chidi in Kafanchan.
Good morning, Uncle YORI.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, the barrister in the studio.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, I am very, very thankful to President Bola Tinubu for the list he has so far sent to the National Assembly. Then, I don't know whomever that is going to get whatever portfolio. But I want to beg on behalf of so many other Nigerians that whomsoever will end up handling the Ministry of Works should please look so critically and convincingly to the Nigerian roads, because from the north through the south, west through the east, we don't have roads that Nigerians are making use of. Therefore, this administration should do something that is going to be very spectacular and that would draw their interest to the government and feel the impact of government by fixing our roads and several other areas of our economy. This is my concern. The gender issue should not be the major issue at this critical time. It is their capacity to deliver in whatever area they are assigned to.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much for calling in. Okay, people are beginning to zero in on key ministries as far as they are concerned. Look, any way you look at it, the roads in the country it's a big topic. Let me put it that it's a big topic. It'll come to you.
Yes.
When you see what that point made by the last caller is well taken, and it's a fantastic one, Mr. Chidi. But I want to still believe, given the track record of Mr. President in Lagos State, in politics generally, I think he will perform. And again, when you look at it, when Okonjo-Iweala was the Minister of Finance under Jonathan, she kept advising the governors, let us not spend all our money, let's keep some for rainy days. The governor will say, no, we want to share everything and spend. There was nothing to fall back on. When there was a breakdown in the economy, or the economy meltdown, so to say, like the economists we call him, my friend here we know, now there was nothing to fall back on. They have to be borrowing to feed. They have to borrow to pay salary and all that. And since 2011 till date, 70 to 80% of Nigerian annual budget has gone to recurrent expenditure, which means only 20% is the room allowed for development of infrastructural development.
I've got to go another break.
Okay.
I beg your pardon. But I'm sorry to do this, but in a sense, I'm not. You know what I mean? Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Okay, welcome back. Still got the gentlemen with us, Fred Nziako and Kabir Akingbolu. And I interrupted you very briefly. Chidi, it was who had said that, look, he just hopes that we put the requisite attention on key ministries, and he himself singled out work. Say, look,
Yes.
what can we really do in this country without roads?
Nothing.
Passable roads.
Nothing.
People have been moaning the fact of that.
Exactly.
But now that we're saving all this money, I suppose there's a way in which you can link those 2 points.
Yes, I'm telling you that with what we have said last month, I want to believe the Tinubu that I know, with what he did in Lagos, we increase it times 3 times 4 with times, possibly. Now, when we do this, we'll be able to pay, our debts in good time, and we'll have enough to at least use for developmental infrastructure. So when this is done, at least people will not be able to be looking around and say, is government doing anything? We have a lot of breakdown of infrastructure in universities on road especially, transportation and all that. It should go into that. Let somebody who is competent, somebody who is, capable, let him man all this ministry for effective delivery.
Tied to the aspect of good road infrastructure is the need to develop our waterways. And I think that this government wants to look in that direction. Of course, having gotten the experience of Lagos, the state of aquatic splendor, he wants to rejig such around the country. We have robust waterways that will be very supplementary alternatives to the road infrastructure. And the rail line system. Look, there's no country in the world that can claim to develop without functional rail system. So this government, I believe, want to look deeply into rail infrastructure, look into waterways infrastructure, and then make sure that the road infrastructure complements the mobility, domestic, internal mobility of the country.
Mr. Basharon in Iyanakwaja, good morning, and thank you for calling in.
Morning, YORI FOLARIN. Thank God that I'm getting through to you for the past 10 years. I was not going to court again. I've been trying to go to court to sue you.
Thank you, God. Thank you very much for that.
For being part of you.
All right, then.
The argument is this. The list is very, very okay. Sincerely speaking, everybody should be happy. Like my other younger brother said that diminishing returns. Mr. George has actually explained it. Diminishing returns comes when you stop, like a footballer. When you stop playing again, when you want to start up again, the diminishing returns are coming. But somebody's continuously on the field cannot diminishing return. The best team that we can get, this is what I get, is a mixture of experienced people and young and newcomers. And if you look at the list now so far, the oldest person in that list in the cabinet now is Serufai, which is 63. If Obi can be Nigeria follow Obi that's a young, it's a youth. It means that this cabinet of all youths. Sincerely speaking, we should be happy with the country that we are getting there. But all we are expecting is the balanced list. It must be submitted so that people don't mock us about it. Indeed. And that point I want to lay is this, that the president should attach the list with their portfolio. You know Nigerians. Where you want to change cabinet, some people go to court. A court distractions.
I hope you are not getting lawyers.
After all, the Senate approved, they must reapprove. Let us let him approve his thing. You know where everybody will play their different roles.
All right then. Well,
the first caller after 10 years of watching you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your persistence. And we're so happy that you got through. I wish we had known that, and so we would have been able to do something about it, but it was no doubt happenstance. Again, Mr. Basharon, he's sort of indicative of the mood of Nigerians regarding this list. There are still more to be done. There are 11 other states, and there are questions. I think SSS also, the security service, secret service, they come into this because they must
do security check.
They must do security checks, and I imagine that we would have lost. I don't know. The security check will have to be before sending to the National Assembly.
To the National Assembly. Absolutely. If you are not, if you are found wanting, your name will not go. So they do a lot. They go to all the places you have worked. They get a report on each of them. Their character, everything.
In addition to what they themselves have been observing.
Done. I think majorly we have to still commend the president for the list because the recycling of vote politicians that I mentioned the other time was very minimal. Only 4 of them, so to say. You understand? I think it's highly commendable. I think Dele Alake is the oldest, 66. So Erufai is 63. Umai is 60. This guy from Ondo State, Bumi Ojo, is 41, and we have 43 Musama.
So you're looking at between 38 and 66.
Yeah. So it's still very fair.
So when you
know, we have 55, and so on and so forth. It's highly commendable. The guy from Niger is 57. You know, so at least the list is fantastic.
So from the point of view of the age dispersal, a fantastic effort.
And of course, you know, as much as like somebody rightly observed, or observed in his own idea, is that we have over 200 million people. Everybody with his own idea, his own nuances, and his own idiosyncrasies. For those who want to support, they will tell you this list is fantastic. For those who want to oppose, they will tell you, oh, this list is not good. They will always find something that they will say is not good. For those who want to be in between, who want to be impartial, they will tell you, this is a good list, then let us watch and see how it will go. Anyhow you look at it, generally speaking, it is a good list. The ones that are remaining to come, we hope it will follow the same trajectory of goodness. It has to. And above all, let us all, because this is collective effort of everybody. My preaching is that we have to all, as Nigerians, ensure that we hold this country better than where it is today. The whole world is looking up to us, and we cannot afford to fail.
Happily, we don't have any issue with what is this matter called federal character or anything like that. It's a remote. It's been taken care of by the Constitution,
and then respected by the executive.
Yes, but don't let us forget also the next list to come may not necessarily be 11, because you know places like Kano may have up to 2 ministerial nominees. So we may see get more than 11. It is not static.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Lagos may also not get 1.
Oh, yes. Since we already have the president of Katsina, and I think one other place already have got that.
They say it's going to be a large cabinet.
It is. Even though we've been having conversations on reducing the side of governance, but there are also political. Yes, there are political considerations. People have worked. People have to be, thank you for the word you provided.
Must be taken along.
Recognized. Recognized. People need to be recognized for their efforts. Okay, just your final thoughts. I just have, about a minute left. Okay, let me declare and come back here.
Yes.
A bullet point.
No, my final thought is, I say again, to whom much is given, much is expected. Let the ministers know that the poor must breathe. Mr. President has said so. Let them know that they are not appointed to go and enjoy.
Okay.
They are nominated, appointed, to be screened and confirmed, to go and work so that the poor will enjoy the fruit of the land.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Fred.
I will also to his line, like the president has said that the poor must breathe, the president also should look at the welfare of the people and ensure that the economy is rejigged and make to be effective, so that because we are importing economy, let the dollar crash down. If the dollar didn't go down, the price of petroleum can keep on going down. We are not finding it funny, but it's doing well so far, so good.
That's also a convenient place to leave it.
We have to pray for the president and the country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kabir Akingbolu, and also to you, Mr. Fred Nzeako.
Many thanks.
Thank you both, gentlemen. That's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for Monday. Join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am YORI FOLARIN. Bye-bye for now.
Following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Do you spend the night trying to get comfortable? Your knees rub bone on bone. Your back and hips ache. You wake up in pain? Not anymore. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the Contour Legacy Pillow, the patented, ergonomically designed tapered leg pillow that naturally fits the contours of your legs, knees, and thighs to help align your spine and alleviate pain. Watch, when you sleep on your side, your leg falls forward, twisting your pelvis and lower back, putting pressure on your spine, hip, and sciatic. But the Contour Legacy Pillow cushions your knees and cradles your legs, relieving stress on joints while restoring your lower back alignment. Sleeping on your side, your leg comes over and puts you out of alignment, causing lower back pain, hip pain, even knee pain. By using the Contour Legacy Pillow, it restores the natural alignment of the spine, helping to alleviate pain and pressure, leading to much more restful sleep. Old-fashioned leg pillows are bulky, but the anatomical design of the Legacy Pillow fits perfectly the shape of your body the way nature intended. You can even use two together for full leg alignment. Legacy Pillow is exclusively ventilated, so it always stays cool.